in what should be a relatively routine fixture. Manchester City's... Well, we're off and underway at Anfield in this independent off-tube studio commentary from the Premier League as Liverpool host Huddersfield Town in what's expected to be one of the most mismatched Premier League games of the season, as already Liverpool have found the back of the net. Mo Salah pouncing on a bad pass at the back, and it's Naby Keita, I think, that's put the ball in the back of the net. Myself, Dan McCarthy and Bobby Jackson taking you through this game. Bobby, I thought this was going to be a one-sided, high-scoring fixture. I didn't expect the scoreline to be broken that quickly.
Well, yeah, I think Liverpool fans would have felt the same coming into tonight's game, that it was going to be a bit of a breeze against Huddersfield, and that has proven to be the case. I think less than 20 seconds on the clock when this ball hits the back of the net. It's played out from the back by Losel, and just given away so cheaply on the edge of their own box. Salah rolls it through, and it's just stroked home into the bottom left corner.
A perfect start for Liverpool, and it's really highlighted how much of a potential mismatch this game could be. It's 1-0 to the home side. The ball was given away at the back by John Stankovic. He just presented the ball to Mo Salah, who slipped a lovely through ball to Naby Keita, who made his way forward, and off the post he puts Liverpool ahead. Liverpool 1, Huddersfield 0.
This could be absolutely any score tonight on the basis of what we've just seen there, and Liverpool are actually on the attack again. Salah with an effort that's pounded away by the gloves of Losel, and it's sort of half cleared by Huddersfield, less than convincing. Van Dijk has actually come over the halfway line. He's in Huddersfield's final third as he continues chasing it down, forces the Terriers to launch it away, and he will retreat as Liverpool begin again from the back. But it's just a case of how much energy they want to put into this game, I think, for the Reds tonight. Could be a case that Jurgen Klopp has said, go and get a few early goals, give me the chance to make some changes and rotate. They've got the Champions League to come in midweek. They've got to win every game between now and the end of the season to have any chance of catching Manchester City. So they want to get games done early, and tonight's one of those opportunities.
It certainly is, and to be honest, I don't think Liverpool do need to particularly expend that much energy playing this game, judging by what we've seen so far. An absolutely calamitous start for the visitors, who are quite lucky in some respects that they've already beaten the lowest points total set in the Premier League. They're 3 points above that, because they really have, particularly in the second half of the season, just been a dreadful Premier League team. Jan Sievert has been in charge of 12 matches at this level. He's overseen 11 losses, but they are breaking into the Liverpool penalty box now, just trying their very best to keep in touch with the home side. Here is the ball with Isaac and Benza out on the left. That's a decent run forward by Eric Durm. Deflected strike, and that one goes just wide. I think Alisson was very casual about that, as it took a massive deflection and looped out of play for a corner.
Casual defending as well from Liverpool. They had 3 players out there all trying to close down, and Benza, and he just kept his composure. Nice little ball rolled infield, and then side-footed effort from Durm. Does take that big deflection. Alisson may be confident it was going wide, but certainly didn't look as though it was a certainty from the angle we had initially. Huddersfield have got the corner.
Yep, they do, and it's over on the far side, although the referee, I don't think, is happy with something. The referee, incidentally, is Kevin Friend. He's off to go and have a word with Juninho Bacuna, the man who's taking the corner. I think the ball wasn't quite in the quadrant, so Kevin Friend made sure that he retreated. So the Dutchman is about to arc this ball into the box. It's a very poor set piece, though, and chested away by Jordan Henderson, as now Liverpool look to rampage forward on the counter-attack. This is where they can be very dangerous. Naby Keita plays a ball forward at the second bite of the cherry. First one took a bit of a deflection. Huddersfield now knock it forward for Steve Mounier, and now it's played across to the left where Alexander-Arnold is. Presumably he's only there because he was breaking forward on that side. Alexander-Arnold will then roll the ball back to Virgil van Dijk, who we're expecting to have a serene evening at Anfield. Over again now to Alexander-Arnold, who's still on this left-hand side for some reason. Cross now to Van Dijk. Now Lovren has Keita making an option in front of him. I still haven't had time to go through the teams yet. Liverpool have Alisson in goal, a back four of Alexander-Arnold, Lovren, Van Dijk and Robertson, Henderson, Keita and Wijnaldum in midfield, Salah and Mane supporting Daniel Sturridge up front. If you're just joining us, it's Liverpool 1, Huddersfield 0. But below, before kick-off this evening, Roberto Firmino ruled out with what Jurgen Klopp described as a muscle injury, so a very rare opportunity for Daniel Sturridge to get a chance at Premier League level. His first start at Anfield since way back in November 2017. It's been such a difficult road for him to go down. Huddersfield line up with Jonas Lösel in goal, a back three of Schindler, Stankovic and Kongolo, with Smith and Durm as the wing backs. I'll break off because Huddersfield are trying to go down the left hand side on the attack. It's Durm who will play one into the box, a side-footed effort by Isaac Mbenza, who was left completely unmarked in there, and I don't think he realised how much time he had.
No, two good chances they've had now, Huddersfield. I mean, obviously hugely critical of the way they started this game, less than 20 seconds in, and they're a goal behind, but since then they've actually responded quite well. Down that left-hand side in particular, does look as though Alexander-Arnold has now finally made his way across there, but only just as the ball went out of play, they'd swap back position, Robertson and Alexander-Arnold. But it looks an area that Huddersfield are going to try and get at today down that flank, and those low balls in just not being dealt with at the moment by Liverpool.
No, they're not, and Huddersfield have managed to force another corner kick. Alexander-Arnold just caught on the ball there by Carlin Grant, who is Huddersfield's top scorer for the season now, despite only joining in January from League One Charlton. That consolation goal on Saturday was his fourth in Huddersfield colours, so it's already beaten the total of Steve Mounier. Another corner kick to be swung in from this far side by Bacuna. Several big men to aim for in the box for Huddersfield. This is probably their most likely route towards goal. Bacuna with a very long sweeping corner kick, and that's very poor from the Dutchman. But you're exactly right, Huddersfield can be encouraged by this response they've had.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's disappointing obviously to concede so early in the game, but the position Huddersfield find themselves in, already relegated, that they have nothing to lose. I don't think it is going to hurt their confidence much more than it's been hurt already this season. They know coming into this game they're huge underdogs, so they'll just brush it off and try to get on with things. They just need to make sure that they try to work out that a little bit more, keep popping up in those pockets, and eventually I'm sure they will get a reward for it. Might be in vain tonight if Liverpool go and score 3 or 4 themselves, but at least give those travelling fans some excitement.
Yep, they certainly need to try and do that before they tumble back to the Championship next season. From Liverpool's point of view, they'll have been very disappointed with the result in midweek. Manchester City winning quite easily against Manchester United. It now puts the title race back in the hands of Pep Guardiola's side. So Liverpool, they are the second favourites to win it. They could conceivably win the Premier League with a total of 97 points, which is quite unbelievable really, and a good or a bad thing depending on how you look at it for the Premier League, as Mane picks up the ball now high up the park. He plays it across to Mo Salah. Salah looking to drift inside, tries to feed a clever through ball into Naby Keita, but it takes a slight deflection kindly into Jonas Lösel's path, as well as Huddersfield have done, trying to put Liverpool under pressure. You get the feeling that this defence simply won't be able to cope with the likes of Salah and Mane.
No, I think the pace is too great for Huddersfield to be able to contain those runs in behind, are likely to provide further goals and opportunities for Liverpool as this game goes on. Add to that the fact we've already seen Robertson and Alexander-Arnold getting high up on the wings as well, and adding further congestion in those types of areas. I just think Huddersfield are not drilled enough to be able to cope with what Liverpool have to offer. They're probably delighted that Firmino's not in there as well, because he can only provide a fair bit of threat too. Sturridge maybe not quite as mobile.
Huddersfield did win a free kick, which is taken high over to the far side, and now it will be Grant to pick possession up. Back to Eric Durm, who rolls it now to Kongolo. The ball very nearly under hit. Kongolo does well to win the ball back though, and now he'll look to release Mbenza on this near side, and Mbenza with a low delivery into the box, just evading Steve Mounier, who got into the area. But Liverpool living quite dangerously at the moment. They're allowing Huddersfield to get forward. Yeah,
it's almost as if they have approached this game thinking we'll be the attacking side, and we don't need to be concerned about what the opposition have got to offer. And if that's the case, then they're potentially going to find themselves in a bit of a sticky situation before long. We're 9.5 minutes in now, and Huddersfield have looked more threatening in the final third. That they've had those 2 good chances, the shots that were blocked, that teasing ball across the face as well. Liverpool really have only had the chance that they put in the back of the net, which is great. They, of course, lead, but they need to make sure that they keep that back door shut.
Still Liverpool 1, Huddersfield 0, and after Liverpool scored that goal after just 20 seconds of the game, the away travelling supporters might have been fearing the worst, but it's actually been a very good response by the Terriers. They've had 2 very good chances to get back on level terms. It was Mbenza that picked up the ball on the left-hand side. He fed a clever through ball to Eric Durham, who unleashed a right-footed strike, which took a massive deflection. Alisson was very calm in how he dealt with it, but it almost nestled into the back of the net. And then another cross from the left-hand side found Isaac Mbenza in the area, who was completely unmarked, but just went for his effort straight away rather than taking a touch, probably not realising they had more time on his hands. Still Liverpool 1, Huddersfield 0, but the home side have to be careful.
Liverpool with a throw-in, excuse me, down at the right end of the field as far as they're concerned. Ball infield, though, is just too much pace on it for Alexander-Arnold. Bounces off the youngster, named in the PFA team of the season, and goes out for a goal kick. Jurgen Klopp has won all 3 of his previous games as a manager against Huddersfield, so he'll be confident of seeing them off once again tonight. Of course, previously it was his old friend David Wagner in charge. The German and former Borussia Dortmund man Jan Siewert at the helm now. He's seemingly the man they trust to try and get them back up from the Championship. As Dan said before, he will be buoyed by the way they've responded to going behind, but need to make sure that they are also a little bit tighter defensively. I mean, the goal, it can be avoided so easily, can't it, really, the way they gave away the ball?
Yeah, it certainly can. It's Huddersfield just trying to play out from the back, but almost overestimating their own talents in doing that. They should have just lumped the ball high down the park, although I suppose it does show some faith that Jan Siewert has got in his side. They are going for a very similar route to which they did with David Wagner, which is exploiting Germany and the German markets. You expect quite a few players to come in from the Bundesliga or Bundesliga 2 in the Championship next season, so that Huddersfield can have a go at getting back up to the top flight at the first time of asking. As another cross from the near side, this time Bakuna putting the ball into the area. There was a foul in the process. Lovren looked like he was brought down by Steve Mounier. The striker then goes and tends to the Croatian defender. Looks like there was possibly a clash of heads, but Bakuna had plenty of space to get that delivery into the area, and I think it's just Mounier's momentum maybe that's he's maybe accidentally stamped on Lovren. We'll have a closer look at the replay now as he dragged him down. Ooh, that looks like a sore one to take. I think it's completely accidental from Mounier, but certainly not the nicest challenge.
Yeah, almost down the cheek, wasn't it, really? Credit to Lovren, the fact that he's got up so soon after without receiving any treatment says a lot about his character, really. But, I mean, it was a foul, no doubt about that, from Mounier. He had a good handful of Lovren's shirt, and I think Lovren's got to expect that tonight. Mounier's the sole striker. If he has got any wits about him, he'll target Lovren rather than getting anywhere near Van Dijk. He'll get a little bit more joy out of the Croatian and might even find himself with a couple of chances.
Ball lobbed now down this far left-hand side for Huddersfield. It is Grant who's trying to turn inside and out of Alexander-Arnold. Grant still going and gets around the England defender before he puts a low cross into the box, deflects behind off Dejan Lovren. I never thought I'd be saying this, but Huddersfield are almost dominating this game.
Yeah, it's relentless, isn't it? They're coming forward at ease, and as I said before, I just don't think Liverpool are prepared for a game like this. They expected that they would have controlled it, and Huddersfield are putting up a great fight. If they'd not been a goal down here, I think Liverpool would be extremely nervy. They already look slightly nervy, but even more so had they not taken that lead. Yeah,
Grant and Mounier look really lively up front. And another corner is swung in by Bakuna. Slashed at the effort there. I think it was Schindler getting up from the back. But Huddersfield still trying to go forward. It's just head tennis on the edge of the Liverpool area before the home side finally get it away. But Huddersfield, as they have been doing, win possession back. All they can do, though, is go for the up and under kick. He'll go out for a goal kick, and finally a chance for the pressure to kind of succeed for Liverpool. Jan Siewert applauding his team, and no wonder why. They're putting Liverpool under all sorts of pressure.
Yeah, I'm just wondering if this is a corner they've worked on, because the previous one we saw was poorly delivered, but into a similar area, just sort of coming away from goal a little bit, round about the penalty spot, a decent height to go at it with the volley. Almost worked out.
Liverpool coming forward with pace now. Salah with a few step overs before an effort with the outside of his right boot. Goes well wide of that near post. So Liverpool still showing signs that they can harm the Huddersfield defence. A lovely flick by Mo Salah. Henderson then playing the ball back into the Egyptian, who was one-on-one with Kongolo, but I think the fact that Huddersfield got so many bodies back meant that Salah rushed his effort.
Yeah, he didn't really have many options on once he'd taken that decision. He was going to drive into the box. He was surrounded by blue and white shirts, and his only final option was to go at goal, and that's what he ultimately decided to do. A prod more than anything else. Not enough pace had it been on target, I think, to even beat Lossell anyway. So that was better from Huddersfield, not panicking too much there. It is the sharp passing that's going to catch Huddersfield out tonight. In the build-up to that move, we saw it again, that they're really struggling to keep with the pace of players when they turn and spin away. When it's in front of them, they should be okay.
Yeah, another fairly poor challenge by Liverpool as well. This time Keita guilty of just stepping on the bridge of Juninho Bacuna's foot. He's up on his feet now, but hobbling away from that one quite gingerly as Huddersfield won themselves a free kick, playing it along the back line again. Schindler with another chance to show he's not comfortable on the ball, and then it's a horrible goal kick clearance by Lursel, which goes all the way behind for a corner kick. What a strange start to this game it's been.
Yeah, it's difficult to put your finger on where it's going to go, isn't it? I mean, Liverpool obviously leading, and you feel they are the favourites in this match, but the way Huddersfield have responded, it's almost as if Huddersfield are two different teams, aren't they? They've been great in the final third, but just defensively they're so cut off and at sea and really can't deal with the pressure at the moment. They'll be hoping they can hang on for this set piece.
Yeah, it'll be Alexander-Arnold to come across from right back to take this corner kick. Van Dijk in the area, the obvious target. It's whipped into the box, and it is Van Dijk that wins the header. Just gets a little bit too much onto it, but he got ahead of his marker, and that goes down as a really good chance. Yeah,
it's a good run, isn't it, from Van Dijk. Huddersfield player ends up on the floor in the process as well, and he just stoops down there, getting away from Stankovic it is in the end, and can't quite get over the top of the ball enough to keep it under the crossbar. But that's a real danger when someone like Virgil van Dijk just glides away from you that comfortably. You've got to feel worried about further set pieces.
Yeah, you definitely do, and with Van Dijk's height and presence in the box, he's a very difficult man to get hold of. The favourite to win the Player of the Year, along with Raheem Sterling. Doesn't tend to be defenders that win that award, but such has been the influence that Van Dijk has had on Liverpool's season, taking them to very near the title. Of course, they can still win it. There will be twists and turns, you imagine, before the end of the season, but it still looks likely that Manchester City will retain their crown, and Liverpool, the wait will go on, but they'll still remain hopeful, certainly, as Keita has the ball just inside the Huddersfield half, plays it out to the left. A slightly underhit pass to Robertson means Huddersfield can get possession back once again to Mbenza. Mbenza plays it back to Tommy Smith, and Huddersfield just playing in these neat triangles before it goes forward down the near channel for Mounier. Tries to spin one back into Carlon Grant. Liverpool only half clear it to Mbenza. Mbenza gets the ball to Jonathan Hogg. Hogg, though, is robbed of the ball, and now it's launched forward looking for Mo Salah, but Durm just gets there ahead of him, and it will go out of play for a throw-in over on the far side. And it is a good job, really, from Jurgen Klopp's thinking that Liverpool did get that early goal. In some ways, it kind of papers over the cracks of what we've seen so far.
Yeah, it's certainly not been a great performance from Liverpool so far. We're just starting to see them again now settle down into a bit of possession, and this is often what you need after a period like they have just experienced on the back foot and struggling to cope with what the opposition can throw at you.
Here is Robertson on the left edge of the box. He feints to put a cross in and then plays one back out to the edge of the area for Wijnaldum. Wijnaldum looking to lift one in for the late run of Alexander-Arnold at the back post. Well headed away by Chris Schindler, and Durm has to just let that one run out for a throw-in. Didn't get there in time, so Alexander-Arnold back in possession of the ball as Liverpool just beginning to turn the screw slightly on Huddersfield. Liverpool 1, Huddersfield 0. Salah in the box now looking to wriggle away from the challenge of several defenders. It's well cleared away by Huddersfield, but Liverpool can try and come back once again, over with Mane on this near side. He's got Sturridge to aim for, he's got Wijnaldum, Salah at the back post as well, as Mane goes out to Alexander-Arnold instead. Quick ball round the corner from Salah, nearly found Jordan Henderson, as they are looking to overload whenever they get forward, which is exactly what you'd expect, and given the nature of this ramshackle Huddersfield defence, they'll be encouraged to do that.
Yeah, well, that's the danger, isn't it? When Huddersfield drop deep, we saw Virgil van Dijk carrying the ball out. He then makes his way into midfield. That frees up other players like Henderson, like Keita, to go and get even further ahead and into the front line. So the deeper that Huddersfield fall, then they are going to find it difficult with so many bodies in the box. That, I suppose, the only advantage is that sometimes it becomes a little bit too congested there with 6 or 7 players from either side. There's no room to manoeuvre. So it's going to have to be patient from Liverpool, because they're not going to get an opening, I think, like they did in that first minute.
Here is the goal scorer, Naby Keita. Across now to Van Dijk. Now Lovren looking to release Alexander-Arnold down the right-hand side again. Infield to Van Naldum. Now Keita. Not seen much of Sturridge so far, but he's trying to look lively, making movements to tease the Huddersfield defenders, although spent so long out of the first team picture as a cross goes into the box. Schindler just gets that one away from Sturridge, and now Huddersfield, can they go forward on the counter-attack? They can. Hogg with the outside of his foot plays a ball through now to Bakuna. It just stops slightly for him, so Bakuna has to retreat, but Huddersfield still remain in possession. Here is Benza on this near side, back with Bakuna. Bakuna out now to Tommy Smith. Smith looking to knock it forward, and Smith nearly getting onto the end of that one, but Van Dijk comes across and intercepts the ball. Robertson takes it forward slightly, and now here is Van Dijk. Just over 21 minutes gone. Liverpool 1, Huddersfield 0. It was just over 21 seconds thereabout that the goal came, but since then it's been an even contest, with perhaps Huddersfield shading it, but the mistake really summing up their season. Just been way too inconsistent and slack at the back for them to mount any sort of challenge, as Liverpool now just settling into the game and looking fairly comfortable in themselves. Yeah,
they've taken that sting out of Huddersfield, haven't they? I think no one really expected Huddersfield to be able to maintain that sort of challenge and presence in the final third for any large period of this game. We might see it again from them at some point, but Liverpool definitely now just controlling things.
It's been played at a relentless pace, is this game. It's still Liverpool 1, Huddersfield 0. Huddersfield have had a succession of corner kicks. They've really put Liverpool under a lot of pressure as Robertson puts the ball into the box. And there is Sadio Mane on the penalty spot, completely unmarked by the Huddersfield defence to give Liverpool a 2-goal advantage.
It's just so simple once again, isn't it? We credited Huddersfield for responding in this game, but suggested that defensively they were still all over the place, and it just comes out this left-hand side. Mane is drifted in between 2 players. He's not the tallest and should be dealt with there. He's in between the 2 centre-backs. It's a simple cushion header in.
Well, despite the fact that Huddersfield were certainly responding well to going a goal down, it's their defence that's cost them once again, as Liverpool have found a second goal. It's so simple. The ball played across to Andy Robertson on the near side. He's got time and space to deliver a perfect teasing ball into the box. Mane gets in between the Huddersfield defenders and plants a header into the bottom corner to give already what looks like an unassailable lead. Liverpool 2, Huddersfield 0.
Yeah, he's having a very good season. Sadio Mane, 23 goals across all competitions this term, and very much has confirmed his place in that front 3. Player that was maybe not quite understood fully when he first came from Southampton. Few fans were unsure whether he was of the quality required to tie down a regular starting spot, but he certainly silenced those critics this term and has been as influential as anyone in this Liverpool side, certainly in the second half of the season as well, when he scored plenty of goals. So in a very good position now, Liverpool 2-0 up.
Yep, they certainly are. They look very good to just build up their goal difference, really, get a lot of goals in this game and try and regain the confidence which might have been taken away slightly by that City win in midweek. Anyway, we are over at the quarterway stage of this game. It's been a pretty mad 24 minutes so far. Liverpool 2, Huddersfield 0. Be Bobby to take us through to half-time.
Yeah, thank you very much, Dan. And you just wonder if Huddersfield have got enough about them to try and respond again as they did, having conceded that early goal in this game. The signs at the moment seem to be suggesting that Liverpool are just again going to control things. Virgil van Dijk seeking a long ball down the left-hand side as overhits it. It's going to go behind for the goal kick. Big news that Liverpool owner John W. Henry is in the stands tonight as well. Not often seen at Anfield, but felt this was an occasion that he had to come to offer up his support and maybe just provide a little bit more of a morale boost in the dressing room. All the players know what they need to do anyway, win the remaining games, and of course they've still got that dream alive of going all the way in the Champions League, although taking on Barcelona isn't going to prove easy over the next couple of weeks. Reuniting with some of their former recruits in Philip Coutinho and Luis Suarez. Daniel Sturridge here, the focus of our pitches is on at the moment as we bring you independent off-tube studio commentary. Haven't really seen him in the game so far. I mean, he's not started a game prior to tonight in 2019, and just wonder how fit he is.
Probably not very. I mean, it's a scenario where I think most people would just have to feel sympathy for him. The fact that for the past 3-4 years now he's not been able to keep himself fit on a consistent basis. Because it's so infrequent that the game time that he gets, he doesn't get much game time off the bench, let alone starting games. I think at this stage of a contest, when we don't see him figure too much, questions are being asked. I think it's a perfect game to try and reintroduce him into the Liverpool lineup, because we've seen already that Huddersfield will give Liverpool plenty of chances, but does seem that half yard off the pace.
Ball over the top at the moment, seeking Salah, and he almost managed to peel off the back of Congolo. The two were tangled momentarily. Eventually the ball skipped away and through to Jonas Lössl. Huddersfield attempt to play out from the back, which this time they do okay. Goes out towards the left-hand side. That pass, though, from Congolo has just been slightly overhit and didn't really give his teammate Grant too much opportunity to keep it in play. Having credited them initially, have to backtrack a little bit. Liverpool take the throw deep inside their own half, and it's poorly cleared away actually by Alexander-Arnold. He's fortunate that it's deflected away for a Liverpool throw and around the halfway mark. Jurgen Klopp has already released some of his energy in this game. I'm sure there was a lot of pent-up nerves there for the German prior to kick-off tonight as well, fully knowing that they're heavily expected to come through this one with flying colours. It doesn't really matter how Liverpool perform between now and the end of the season. As long as they get the results, as long as they win the remaining games, he won't mind too much. But the fact that they are playing some good, free-flowing, attacking football will delight him even more. Yeah, it certainly will. I mean, in some respects, the pressure's now off them because no one expects Manchester City to slip up. So Liverpool can approach their remaining games with a bit of freedom, and they've just got to try and do what they can. As Salah has an effort from distance, it's ballooned way over the bar. But as I was saying, they've just got to do what they can and kind of hope more than anything that City can slip up. You mentioned the goal difference before. Liverpool with 2 tonight are now on plus 61. For City it's plus 67. They've both enjoyed extremely high-scoring seasons. Liverpool's first goal tonight as well, incidentally, proved to be their 100th across all competitions in English football this campaign. So they're now in the Century Club for 2018-19. Not sure if goal difference is going to have too much of an influence between now and the end of the season. Now, I think it is going to come down to wins more than anything else, but Liverpool nonetheless will want to send out a real statement tonight. And here they come again with Salah. Comes infield and leaves it for Van Alden. He's going to find Sturridge, who has a strike over the bar. Just maybe under pressure there, not quite mastering the technique. No, not quite, but I think it's better. It's at least seeing Sturridge getting involved in the game. He's probably going to be a bit annoyed with himself that he didn't at least force the goalkeeper into doing any work, because Huddersfield just left him completely exposed, lots of space to get the strike away, and in the end he just blazed it over. Yeah, just underneath it too much as Lössl prepares to get play restarted with this goal kick. They have attempted to play out from the back a few times in those types of scenarios, but on this occasion it's launched long downfield, flicked on by Grant, laid back towards Durham, who sends it down the line, and the flag is going to go up here. That's going to stop proceedings just for the moment. Look pretty clear in the first instance. I don't think we really need a replay to fully confirm that one. There's to be a bit of a wind going around Anfield tonight as well. Hasn't affected play too much at present. Liverpool, of course, preferring to play most of their football on the deck. Won't mind that too much as we just go towards the half-hour mark. Liverpool 2, Huddersfield 0. Robertson flicking a ball in field. Bit casual about that. Keita almost won it back for the home side, but Huddersfield have been able to retain the ball. But down the line, Van Dijk will come out to read it. Calm as you like, just cushions it down for Robertson, who rolls it infield, and it'll work its way back to Van Dijk, and Liverpool can look to play themselves into a little bit more space. I suppose we sort of hinted at the fact earlier on, but if Liverpool can get a third before half-time, might we see Mo Salah off and potentially Mane thinking ahead to Barcelona?
Yeah, potentially so. I mean, there'd be no reason for them to figure more in this game. I mean, I think maybe there's the golden boot potentially at stake, but I don't think that's going to be in the thinking of Jurgen Klopp, to be honest, and it'll provide an opportunity for more of their squad players to get half a game as well. We've seen very little of Xherdan Shaqiri since the new year. Of course, Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain, massive boost to him personally, but Liverpool as well, that he's back to fitness, back on the bench. Divock Origi there as well, so particularly if they get a third, even a fourth goal before half-time, he might look to make those changes.
Yeah, he has brought Joe Gomez off the bench a couple of times over the last few weeks as well in the closing stage of games. I know he played right back last time when he came on and replaced Alexander-Arnold, and many see him as central defender, and that's where he's best placed. It's just a case of fitting him in at the moment and trying to build up those minutes. Might have a more influential role to play between now and the end of the season, but Jurgen Klopp certainly not looking to rush him back into things as Van Dijk heads up into the air. Will be won then by Kongolo, who heads down towards Grant, hooked across field, and Benson will chase. He's beaten to it comfortably by Robertson, who exchanges passes with Alisson, and Liverpool have plenty of time now deep inside their own half, with Naby Keita dropping in to offer his support. Goes across towards Dejan Lovren, over the halfway line and into Alexander-Arnold. Liverpool just looking to try and assess the picture further down the field, setting up shape in opposition territory. Henderson, the deepest of the midfielders at present, plays it out to Robertson. Van Dijk, and back across to his central defensive partner Lovren again. Huddersfield not really getting close enough to really lay a glove on their opponents, but they're happy enough just to be sitting in and trying to keep as solid a shape as possible. Mane has just come infield to try and inject a bit of something, vibrancy to the game. Keita then comes away from goal and goes back into Van Dijk, and it's very steady and cautious this from Liverpool, but with every two passes they go forward, there's one back, and it just allows the defenders, as we see them now, to creep into opposition territory. Yeah,
it does, but I don't think Liverpool need to really approach this game in such a breakneck manner. It's almost them just trying to preserve the energy they've got. Just as I say that, Salah tries to thread one through the eye of a needle for Robertson on the near side. It's just slightly overhit, but Liverpool just look very, very comfortable in their surroundings now, and they're almost toying with Huddersfield a bit.
Yeah, they are really playing the game at their own pace, and that is the luxury that Liverpool have. An opening goal in the first 20 seconds. I think it's actually gone down officially as 15 seconds in this game. That it does afford them the opportunity to really slow things down as and when they choose to. At the moment, Huddersfield have got the ball just out on the right-hand side. It's turned back by Steve Mounier. Hook then clips it over the top. Mounier's going to chase this one, but it'll bounce through to Alisson. Just looking at Robertson, who got the assist for the goal. He's now got 10 for the season with the one that he clipped in. He's the fourth highest assist provider in the division. Hazard with 13. Eriksson and Fraser ahead of him. He's tied with Sane and Sterling on 10 now, which is a remarkable achievement for a fullback, really.
Yeah, it certainly is, and I think it kind of sums up the way that Liverpool play the game, because Alexander-Arnold is also on that chart as well. Those fullbacks have been probably two of Liverpool's best players this season, certainly the unsung heroes. We talk about Van Dijk, and of the front three, Mane's been the best one this season, but Alexander-Arnold and Robertson have been really outstanding this season.
Yeah, they lead the way certainly for Liverpool in terms of assists. Mo Salah has chipped in with 8 as well. And Lovren will just work one into midfield now with Naby Keita across towards Lovren. Switches the play back in towards Huddersfield territory. Coming away from goal is Daniel Sturridge, just looking to get himself involved, having been a little bit anonymous in the first 15 minutes. He's gently starting to have more of an influence on the match. Huddersfield will look to drive out of defence. They managed to win a throw-in, gives them an opportunity just to ease a little bit of the pressure that has been steadily growing on them as this game has developed. Jurgen Klopp having a word with some of his backroom staff on the bench. I'm sure there's not really too much that needs to be fine-tuned about the performance. A little rocky patch they had after scoring, but since then it has been plain sailing. A long looping throw down the line from Huddersfield doesn't amount to anything. Cleared away by Liverpool. Huddersfield then failed to make the most of a loose ball, and there might have been a hand in there as well. That is going to prove to be a free kick. Don't know if there'll be a card out here. I don't think the referee thinks there was too much intent in it, but certainly appeared to hit an arm.
Yeah, I don't think there was intent, and of course the handball rule has kind of been so much discussed in recent months, particularly with the advent of VAR. It needs to be sorted out pretty quickly, but in the end it's come to nothing because Liverpool take the free kick short.
Yeah, in towards the halfway line with Henderson, who was also been a pretty key figure in the second half of this season. A few appearances off the bench that have turned out to be match-winning performances. Very much is becoming an essential part of this Liverpool side, having been questioned at times following his move from Sunderland. He's certainly matured and grown into his role as captain. He's now found Salah, who glides past the first player and then gets towards the byline, can't quite squeeze the cross away. That'll go behind for the corner hog across there to get the crucial touch in. Tommy Smith is down at the moment. Robertson has just gone across almost as if to apologise to his Huddersfield counterpart. Just take a look at it here and see where the issue arose from. I think it's accidental, isn't it? Smith running away and Robertson with his eyes infield just seems to catch him on the heel.
Yeah, it can be one of those painful ones if the studs are raking down the back of that heel, Achilles sort of area, but he's back up on his feet now. He's hopping away a little bit gingerly, but I think he should be okay. Just one of those impact ones you have to try and run off.
Corner then still to be taken by Liverpool. The referee, Kevin Friend, has just had a word with Smith to check that he is okay, and he appears to be fine. Corner comes in then, headed away on the edge of the 6-yard box by Huddersfield. Henderson brings the clearance down, and his cross is too close to Lössl. And he seemingly wants to get on with it quickly, and does eventually. Having initially been impeded by a Liverpool player, he launches it out left. It's Grant who just can't quite bring it under his full control. He turns around to his goalkeeper, thumbs up, appreciates the effort.
After a blistering first 25 minutes to this game, it certainly has calmed down somewhat. Huddersfield's decent response has now seen them really go back into the shell. Liverpool completely controlling possession, just playing the game at their own pace. They're not having to come forward at any breakneck speed. Mo Salah has had an effort which he blazed over the bar from the right edge of the box. Daniel Sturridge as well, making his first Premier League start in 2019, has been pretty quiet, but he's also had an effort from the edge of the box that went well over. Still Liverpool 2, Huddersfield 0.
Liverpool again just slowing things down on the halfway line with Alexander-Arnold and Henderson. Those two central defenders for Liverpool have seen a lot of the ball in this game. I might even suggest that they've seen more of it than the front line, really. It has been sparingly sent up towards the likes of Sturridge, but it is drilled into the box now. Turned back towards Sturridge, edge of the area, just beats into it by a Huddersfield defender. And worked out wide by Huddersfield. They can't quite get that final ball in, tap it onto the left flank. Then there's a poor challenge from Keita. And that is going to bring about a free kick. I think he'll get away with just a warning here. It was an honest enough challenge. I think both players were scrapping for the ball. Just unfortunately, Keita catching his man. Yeah,
I think that might be one of his last warnings now, Naby Keita. There's been a couple of occasions where he's gone in late in midfield. Kevin Friend, I think, really sensing the occasion of the game where it's not exactly competitive in terms of the fact that it's against a team that are relegated, against a team that are going for the title, 2-0 up. I don't think there's any reason for him to start dishing out yellow cards for no reason.
Like, Jurgen Klopp is having a word with the fourth official at the moment. Not quite sure what that would be about. He doesn't look to be too angered by anything. It seems quite a cordial conversation between the pair. Maybe just seeking clarification on something, but there hasn't been anything overly obvious that the referee has missed at the moment, as we can see things. Throw in one by Liverpool midway through their own half. Again, Kevin Friend this time is the focus of our pictures now, which further suggests that there might be something that Jurgen Klopp has potentially picked up on. But we'll let you know if we do see a replay of any sort of incident. At the moment, Liverpool are trying to come forward. Sturridge ends up on the deck as he looked to ride a challenge. Didn't appear to be much in that one, really, but enough for Kevin Friend to blow up. So Liverpool have a free kick midway through the Huddersfield half, sort of out towards the right-hand side, maybe 15 yards or so in from the touchline. Mo Salah and Alexander-Arnold are over the top of it, so they've got the option to go with either foot. Virgil van Dijk has come forward, and a couple of other targets just lurking on the edge of the box. Now it's a case of how brave Huddersfield will be. He swung in towards the far post, but Losa will come and claim. Not sure if Van Dijk would have been onside there, but he'd made his run early and was not tracked.
Yeah, he wasn't tracked. It was poor defending from Huddersfield, but equally the set piece itself wasn't the greatest delivery in the box. I think as we're 5 minutes before half time, I think Jurgen Klopp might want to see his team get a third goal, because even though at this stage it'd still be very, very surprising if Huddersfield were to get something out of it. 2-0, it's never the most comfortable of leads, and I think there is that urgency there to try and rest his players as much as possible. He's not taking Huddersfield lightly, because he started the likes of Salah and Mane, but he won't want them to play 90 minutes, I'm convinced of that.
Yeah, it's a chance for Liverpool to maybe grab the third here just before the break. Mane into the box, just can't quite get the ball out of his feet, and it's a good challenge eventually by Smith, and cleared away down the right-hand side by Huddersfield, immediately won by Van Dijk, who turns and has a little word in the direction of Lovren. Not quite sure what that was about. This time Robertson is poor with his delivery into the box, and it goes behind. And I think you're right about Klopp maybe just looking to avoid any injuries to his players as well, when you think about Firmino missing tonight's game with what has been put down as a groin injury. There were reports earlier in the day that he was potentially out for the rest of the season. That's not been confirmed by Liverpool at all, but if that is to be the case, that he's going to miss any sort of run of games, then you're thinking, well, I can't lose Mane or Salah. You need as many of that front three available as possible.
Yeah, because those front three come as a three. They're weaker when one of them misses out, and Firmino is the centre forward, but he's got that ability to drop into the number 10 position and just try and knit things for them going forward. They haven't really got a like-for-like replacement. Sturridge doesn't give that, and neither does Origi, so they do have to be mindful of any injuries that come before the crucial games with Barcelona.
Henderson driving it on forward for Liverpool now, goes out to Mane. He's got Robertson on the overlap, might go goal himself, instead tries to find Salah, shot blocked. Henderson with the follow-up, blazes over the crossbar. Really slick play from Liverpool this time around. Just felt Robertson could maybe have been a little bit braver there. It was nicely onto his left foot, and he could have gone at goal. Yeah,
I think he should have gone at goal as well, because the angle's pretty good to go across Jonas Lörsel. I mean, Mo Salah, obviously being a goal scorer that he is, was probably screaming for the ball, so for Robertson's point of view, it was a decent pick out of Salah, but there were Huddersfield defenders all around him, and then when the ball rebounded to Henderson, you think you'd rather have someone like Sturridge getting onto the end of that one.
Yeah, lack of composure in the end from the Liverpool captain, just when it mattered to really give them a huge advantage. Nice little cushion going in at the half-time break. As things stand, they're still in a very good position at 2-0 up, but you always know that Jurgen Klopp demands more from his side. And with Huddersfield on the front foot at the moment, they might just be made to pay for that missed opportunity. Around about a minute until the 45 are up. I expect we'll probably only get a minute of additional time. We've not had too many stoppages. Goals, of course, taking up a little bit of time, but celebrations weren't over the top. Huddersfield have taken the throw in short. They go back in towards Durham, who fizzes it infield. Grant can't quite control, but it fortunately falls to a teammate, and the low cross in was poor. There was an opportunity there to play in Mounier, who had got ahead of his man, Had that delivery been better, they might have been in and scored. It's Liverpool, though, who come away on the counter. Sturridge carrying the ball. Keita, Salah, Mane all ahead, as is Robertson now. Barrelling down the left-hand side. His cross is cut out by Hogg. And that should give Huddersfield the chance to clear their lines. Bakuna goes back towards his own goal. And then he does get a little bit of help from Mbenza, but chances at both ends.
Yeah, certainly so. I mean, the Huddersfield one, I'm not entirely convinced the ball threaded forward was intentional, but it seemed to go through so many bodies. Liverpool didn't deal with it. The cross was blocked in the end, but Liverpool just allowed that one to get away from them. And then coming forward, once again, they were overloading the box, and maybe Robertson almost had too many options to aim for. He went to drill it into a dangerous area, but didn't beat the first man.
I would normally say that's where Huddersfield have to be careful, maybe overcommitting on the attack themselves, but it, I suppose, doesn't really matter. They're already 2 down and relegated to the Championship. They maybe can afford to overcommit at times in search of a goal. As Salah clips one over Losel now, and there's the third for Liverpool out of absolutely nothing. A few short passes, rolled through, flicked through towards Salah. Losel came, thought he could get there. He misjudged the bounce of the ball, and Salah beats him. They lead 3-0.
Liverpool have got a third goal before half-time, really timely from them, and again it's very, very simple. Alexander-Arnold just picking up the ball inside the Huddersfield half, arced a lovely ball forward to Mo Salah, who broke into the box. Jonas Losel committed himself far too soonly, and Salah was just able to lift it over the helpless Dane to go into the back of the net. Liverpool 3, Huddersfield 0.
That's an assist for both of those Liverpool fullbacks tonight then. I have to say that ball from Alexander-Arnold is an absolute peach for Mo Salah. Great movement from the Egyptian as well. He starts off hugging the touchline, and there's a little run. I think it was from Mane, who was in the central position, just dropped off. He took a defender out the way. That opened up the big gap for Salah to run infield. Worked like clockwork, really. And Liverpool have their reward. 3-0 up as the whistle goes for the half-time break. Liverpool on course for 3 points.
Half-time, it's Liverpool 3, Huddersfield 0. Liverpool taking the lead after just 15 seconds. Stankovic giving the ball away to Salah, who fed one through to Naby Keita, finished past Jonas Losel off the post. Midway through the first half, Liverpool got the second. Robertson allowed time and space to get a cross in from the left-hand side. There was Sadio Mane to head the ball home, and then Salah got the third just before the break. Alexander-Arnold's curling ball forward. He lifted it over Losel. Harsh on Huddersfield, but it's Liverpool 3, Huddersfield 0. Half-time, it's Liverpool 3, Huddersfield 0. Liverpool taking the lead after just 15 seconds. Stankovic giving the ball away to Salah, who fed one through to Naby Keita, finished past Jonas Losel off the post. Midway through the first half, Liverpool got the second. Robertson allowed time and space to get a cross in from the left-hand side. There was Sadio Mane to head the ball home, and then Salah got the third just before the break. Alexander-Arnold's curling ball forward. He lifted it over Losel. Harsh on Huddersfield, but it's Liverpool 3, Huddersfield 0. Half-time, it's Liverpool 3, Huddersfield 0. Liverpool taking the lead after just 15 seconds. Stankovic giving the ball away to Salah, who fed one through to Naby Keita, finished past Jonas Losel off the post. Midway through the first half, Liverpool got the second. Robertson allowed time and space to get a cross in from the left-hand side. There was Sadio Mane to head the ball home, and then Salah got the third just before the break. Alexander-Arnold's curling ball forward. He lifted it over Losel. Harsh on Huddersfield, but it's Liverpool 3, Huddersfield 0. Half-time, it's Liverpool 3, Huddersfield 0. Liverpool taking the lead after just 15 seconds. Stankovic giving the ball away to Salah, who fed one through to Naby Keita, finished past Jonas Losel off the post. Midway through the first half, Liverpool got the second. Robertson allowed time and space to get a cross in from the left-hand side. There was Sadio Mane to head the ball home, and then Salah got the third just before the break. Alexander-Arnold's curling ball forward. He lifted it over Losel. Harsh on Huddersfield, but it's Liverpool 3, Huddersfield 0. Half-time, it's Liverpool 3, Huddersfield 0. Liverpool taking the lead after just 15 seconds. Stankovic giving the ball away to Salah, who fed one through to Naby Keita, finished past Jonas Lörsel off the post. Midway through the first half, Liverpool got the second. Robertson allowed time and space to get a cross in from the left-hand side. There was Sadio Mane to head the ball home, and then Salah got the third just before the break. Alexander-Arnold's curling ball forward, he lifted it over Lörsel. Harsh on Huddersfield, but it's Liverpool 3, Huddersfield 0. Half-time, it's Liverpool 3, Huddersfield 0. Liverpool taking the lead after just 15 seconds. Stankovic giving the ball away to Salah, who fed one through to Naby Keita, finished past Jonas Lörsel off the post. Midway through the first half, Liverpool got the second. Robertson allowed time and space to get a cross in from the left-hand side. There was Sadio Mane to head the ball home, and then Salah got the third just before the break. Alexander-Arnold's curling ball forward, he lifted it over Lörsel. Harsh on Huddersfield, but it's Liverpool 3, Huddersfield 0. Half-time, it's Liverpool 3, Huddersfield 0. Liverpool taking the lead after just 15 seconds. Stankovic giving the ball away to Salah, who fed one through to Naby Keita, finished past Jonas Lörsel off the post. Midway through the first half, Liverpool got the second. Robertson allowed time and space to get a cross in from the left-hand side. There was Sadio Mane to head the ball home, and then Salah got the third just before the break. Alexander-Arnold's curling ball forward, he lifted it over Lörsel. Harsh on Huddersfield, but it's Liverpool 3, Huddersfield 0. Half-time, it's Liverpool 3, Huddersfield 0. Liverpool taking the lead after just 15 seconds. Stankovic giving the ball away to Salah, who fed one through to Naby Keita, finished past Jonas Lörsel off the post. Midway through the first half, Liverpool got the second. Robertson allowed time and space to get a cross in from the left-hand side. There was Sadio Mane to head the ball home, and then Salah got the third just before the break. Alexander-Arnold's curling ball forward, he lifted it over Lörsel. Harsh on Huddersfield, but it's Liverpool 3, Huddersfield 0. Half got the third just before the break. Alexander-Arnold's curling ball forward. He lifted it over Lursell. Harsh on Huddersfield, but it's Liverpool 3, Huddersfield 0. Half-time, it's Liverpool 3, Huddersfield 0. Liverpool taking the lead after just 15 seconds. Stankovic giving the ball away to Salah, who fed one through to Naby Keita, finished past Jonas Lursell off the post. Midway through the first half, Liverpool got the second. Robertson allowed time and space to get a cross in from the left-hand side. There was Sadio Mane to head the ball home, and then Salah got the third just before the break. Alexander-Arnold's curling ball forward. He lifted it over Lursell. Harsh on Huddersfield, but it's Liverpool 3, Huddersfield 0. Half-time, it's Liverpool 3, Huddersfield 0. Liverpool taking the lead after just 15 seconds. Stankovic giving the ball away to Salah, who fed one through to Naby Keita, finished past Jonas Lursell off the post. Midway through the first half, Liverpool got the second. Robertson allowed time and space to get a cross in from the left-hand side. There was Sadio Mane to head the ball home, and then Salah got the third just before the break. Alexander-Arnold's curling ball forward. He lifted it over Lursell. Harsh on Huddersfield, but it's Liverpool 3, Huddersfield 0. Half-time, it's Liverpool 3, Huddersfield 0. Liverpool taking the lead after just 15 seconds. Stankovic giving the ball away to Salah, who fed one through to Naby Keita, finished past Jonas Lursell off the post. Midway through the first half, Liverpool got the second. Robertson allowed time and space to get a cross in from the left-hand side. There was Sadio Mane to head the ball home, and then Salah got the third just before the break. Alexander-Arnold's curling ball forward. He lifted it over Lursell. Harsh on Huddersfield, but it's Liverpool 3, Huddersfield 0. Half-time, it's Liverpool 3, Huddersfield 0. Liverpool taking the lead after just 15 seconds. Stankovic giving the ball away to Salah, who fed one through to Naby Keita, finished past Jonas Lursell off the post. Midway through the first half, Liverpool got the second. Robertson allowed time and space to get a cross in from the left-hand side. There was Sadio Mane to head the ball home, and then Salah got the third just before the break. Alexander-Arnold's curling ball forward. He lifted it over Lursell. Harsh on Huddersfield, but it's Liverpool 3, Huddersfield 0. Half-time, it's Liverpool 3, Huddersfield 0. Liverpool taking the lead after just 15 seconds. Stankovic giving the ball away to Salah, who fed one through to Naby Keita, finished past Jonas Lursell off the post. Midway through the first half, Liverpool got the second. Robertson allowed time and space to get a cross in from the left-hand side. There was Sadio Mane to head the ball home, and then Salah got the third just before the break. Alexander-Arnold's curling ball forward. He lifted it over Lursell. Harsh on Huddersfield, but it's Liverpool 3, Huddersfield 0. Half-time, it's Liverpool 3, Huddersfield 0. Liverpool taking the lead after just 15 seconds. Stankovic giving the ball away to Salah, who fed one through to Naby Keita, finished past Jonas Lursell off the post. Midway through the first half, Liverpool got the second. Robertson allowed time and space to get a cross in from the left-hand side. There was Sadio Mane to head the ball home, and then Salah got the third just before the break. Alexander-Arnold's curling ball forward. He lifted it over Lursell. Harsh on Huddersfield, but it's Liverpool 3, Huddersfield 0. Half-time, it's Liverpool 3, Huddersfield 0. Liverpool taking the lead after just 15 seconds. Stankovic giving the ball away to Salah, who fed one through to Naby Keita, finished past Jonas Lursell off the post. Midway through the first half, Liverpool got the second. Robertson allowed time and space to get a cross in from the left-hand side. There was Sadio Mane to head the ball home, and then Salah got the third just before the break. Alexander-Arnold's curling ball forward. He lifted it over Lursell. Harsh on Huddersfield, but it's Liverpool 3, Huddersfield 0. Half-time, it's Liverpool 3, Huddersfield 0. Liverpool taking the lead after just 15 seconds. Stankovic giving the ball away to Salah, who fed one through to Naby Keita, finished past Jonas Lursell off the post. Midway through the first half, Liverpool got the second. Robertson allowed time and side. There was Sadio Mane to head the ball home, and then Salah got the third just before the break. Alexander-Arnold's curling ball forward. He lifted it over Lursell. Harsh on Huddersfield, but it's Liverpool 3, Huddersfield 0. Half-time, it's Liverpool 3, Huddersfield 0. Liverpool taking the lead after just 15 seconds. Stankovic giving the ball away to Salah, who fed one through to Naby Keita, finished past Jonas Lursell off the post. Midway through the first half, Liverpool got the second. Robertson allowed time and space to get a cross in from the left-hand side. There was Sadio Mane to head the ball home, and then Salah got the third just before the break. Alexander-Arnold's curling ball forward. He lifted it over Lursell. Harsh on Huddersfield, but it's Liverpool 3, Huddersfield 0. Half-time, it's Liverpool 3, Huddersfield 0. Liverpool taking the lead after just 15 seconds. Stankovic giving the ball away to Salah, who fed one through to Naby Keita, finished past Jonas Lörsel off the post. Midway through the first half, Liverpool got the second. Robertson allowed time and space to get a cross in from the left-hand side. There was Sadio Mane to head the ball home, and then Salah got the third just before the break. Alexander-Arnold curling ball forward. He lifted it over Lörsel. Harsh on Huddersfield, but it's Liverpool 3, Huddersfield 0. Half-time, it's Liverpool 3, Huddersfield 0. Liverpool taking the lead after just 15 seconds. Stankovic giving the ball away to Salah, who fed one through to Naby Keita, finished past Jonas Lörsel off the post. Midway through the first half, Liverpool got the second. Robertson allowed time and space to get a cross in from the left-hand side. There was Sadio Mane to head the ball home, and then Salah got the third just before the break. Alexander-Arnold curling ball forward. He lifted it over Lörsel. Harsh on Huddersfield. And with that, we're back out for the second half of this Premier League encounter between Liverpool and Huddersfield. Currently 3-0 to Jurgen Klopp's men. A goal before the break, putting them in a very unassailable position against the league's bottom side. It's a little bit harsh, the scoreline on Huddersfield, particularly for the 15 minutes after that first goal. They were posing a threat, they were getting forward and creating chances, but it's just those defensive issues that have surfaced all season for the Terriers, which have allowed Liverpool to build a 3-goal lead without particularly playing well. The two teams are unchanged from the first half. Myself, Dan McCarthy and Bobby Jackson taking you through the rest of the game. And Bobby, I think we expect this game to be played at a bit of a slower pace in this second half.
Yeah, I think that'll be the request from Jurgen Klopp. No doubt that he wanted them to get off to a very good a quick start to this game and then wind down gradually as it goes on, with thoughts ahead to a return to European football. So the only surprise for me is that he hasn't made any changes at the break. I mean, I didn't expect him to make all three at the same point, but definitely Shaqiri, I think, will be itching to get on. Origi, another one. I think Mane and Salah have to go off for me. That they've got to try and wrap those players up, not just for Europe, even if that isn't their main focus, but for this Premier League running. The last thing they need is a strong challenge on one of those players, potentially puts them out for 2-3 weeks and they miss the rest of the season.
Here is Grant over on the far side for Huddersfield as they look to try and reinstate some of that momentum that they had in the first half. His cross takes a deflection and goes behind for a throw-in to Huddersfield. Ball picked up by Tommy Smith over on that far side. Huddersfield are attacking in the end, in which the Terriers fans are housed at Anfield. They've given away possession though, and now Liverpool can try and sprint forward. Advantage given by Kevin Friend after Jorginho Wijnaldum was held back. I think the player in question, couldn't see who it was that went for the pull, but he might be booked once play is stopped. Here is Henderson round the corner for Mo Salah. Do need to try and get Daniel Sturridge involved in the game a little bit more, because even though Liverpool, when they came forward, looked like an irresistible force, Sturridge wasn't anywhere to be seen.
No, and that's, I think, what's to be expected really from Sturridge when he's not had a great deal of game time. We talk about him not starting a Premier League game this calendar year, but even going back over the course of the last 3 or 4 seasons, he's not had a great deal of football. So to come in last minute as well, the fact that Firmino has picked this injury up in the week in training, Sturridge hasn't had it in his head for some time that he's going to get his opportunity. It was very much thrust upon him. So maybe even mentally as well as physically, he's not in the right place.
No, perhaps not. It's a difficult scenario for him. You can only see him leaving Liverpool at the end of the season. Whether there be any takers in the Premier League with his wage demands and his injury record, that remains to be seen. That's a very good ball from him, though, out wide to Robertson, who drags it infield now to Henderson, who tried to release Sturridge. He didn't make that run going forward, though, and Huddersfield can't clear the ball, only as far as the head of Virgil van Dijk. Now taken on by Keita. Keita across to Robertson. Huddersfield just retreating back and trying to make it as awkward as possible for Liverpool to get forward. That's a really good chipped ball over the top by Wijnaldum, and Mane just lifts it over the bar. I think him and Sturridge just might have got in each other's way. Sturridge looking frustrated with himself. Another great ball over the top. Both of them onside. It was Durham coming across, and it's just that lack of communication possibly.
Yeah, and he would have been offside there if the defender held his line. Obviously he's tracking Sturridge, and as he does that, he drops a little bit deeper and plays Mane on. he's in a good position. As you said, he maybe was slightly put off by Sturridge. It's difficult in those situations. Both players probably feel I'm in the better position. It's tough then to communicate in such a short space of time, and someone just has to take control. But unfortunately for Liverpool, they couldn't quite find that fourth.
No, they couldn't, as Alisson's put the ball out, and it's a big concern that Virgil van Dijk has gone down, and he's started shaking his head as well. So this really could throw the cat amongst the pigeons if there is a problem with Van Dijk. Don't quite know what happened there as he jumped up for a header. He's landed really awkwardly on his left foot. I don't know whether he's turned his ankle, jumping up for the header, and there's a bit of a turn on that ankle, goes straight down to the ground. I mean, if you're Jurgen Klopp, you take him off right now and absolutely take no chances.
Yeah, I think as well that the Huddersfield player appeared to come down on him a little bit with the studs. Not that there was any intent there, it's just the way that he's landed. But you're right, we've spoken about Salah and Mane as potential players to come off, but Van Dijk is as crucial. You could deal without Lovren because you've got Matip to come in, vice versa, but Van Dijk is the commanding figure in that back line. He's the one that is essential. So I'd be looking at getting Matip on as well, and looking to shake things up, maybe even Gomez if you're prepared to take that gamble, just whether he's got enough fitness to play for this length of time.
Well, he does appear to be moving a little bit better now, but it's still a hearts in mouths moment for Liverpool, who probably won't be concerned about the result tonight. They'll have known before kick-off that it's very likely they're going to win this game quite comfortably. Van Dijk is now stepping out of defence, and he's moving on that ankle much more comfortably. Always, though, very awkward when centre-halves, particularly ones with as much behind him as Van Dijk, when they land awkwardly and all that weight is going on one joint, it does take it out of them, as Huddersfield now break forward themselves with Karlan Grant trying to get into the box. Oh, and it nearly falls for Steve Mounier. That would have been, it was Karlan Grant that it nearly fell to. That would have been a very fortuitous goal that Huddersfield could have got back, as just the deflection took it towards Grant, but he couldn't react in time. Huddersfield, though, breaking forward again. Now with Mounier, I don't know why he decided to stop his run, though. It just allowed the chance for Naby Keita to get back, to challenge him, and the ball to go out of play for a corner kick. But two great opportunities for Huddersfield. Yeah,
just turned Lovren one way and the other, and the Croatian couldn't quite get to grips as to how to deal with the situation. Then we see possession lost here, and just I was watching Mounier, he just seemed to ease off for some reason. He was closing in on the finish line of getting to the ball and decided to hold it up. Grant is having a pretty strong word with him now and saying, I was there, all you had to do was square it, and I'd have had a tap in. And the debate goes on between those two as Huddersfield prepare for the corner.
Yeah, they've got a corner kick at the very least, but it was a very good opportunity for them to get something of a consolation goal. Corner will be swung in by Bacuna, headed away by Wijnaldum, and now headed back into the mix before it's cleared, and Liverpool can attempt to counter, but Huddersfield get to it first. The ball is swung over to the corner kick taker Bacuna, but he's been caught in an offside position. Still doesn't stop him, though, from sticking the ball in the back of the net. Early stages of the second half at Anfield, where it still remains Liverpool 3, Huddersfield 0. The home side still look like they're in command. They've had a good opportunity when Wijnaldum knocked one forward for both Sadio Mane and Daniel Sturridge to run onto. They perhaps got in each other's way, and the effort eventually went over the bar by Mane. But Huddersfield still showing determination going up front. They've had a couple of very good chances themselves. Fortuitously, Bacuna getting into the box, found a ball to Karlan Grant, who just slipped and couldn't quite get on the end of the ball, as Liverpool have got a fourth goal. No, they haven't. Daniel Sturridge has been caught offside. We'll have to have a look at the replay of that one, but it could have been a glorious chance for Sturridge just to get some confidence back.
Yeah, it would have been a fantastic opportunity for him, as you say, to just rebuild a little bit those confidence levels. Look at it again now as they come out to the right-hand side. He is offside there, Sturridge. Just the wrong side of the defender. Great ball in from Alexander-Arnold low and gives Sturridge something to go at. Defenders were desperate. They didn't quite know that he was offside, but it is the right call.
Early stages of the second half, where it remains Liverpool 3, Huddersfield 0. Liverpool have generally looked like they're in command of this game. Daniel Sturridge has had the best opportunity for them in the second half. Alexander-Arnold put in a cross in from the right-hand side. Sturridge put it into the back of the net, although he was adjudged to have been half a yard offside. But Huddersfield certainly aren't giving up trying, getting a consolation goal. A couple of good chances themselves. Bakuna weaved his way into the box on the left-hand side. A deflected cross took it to the path of Carlon Grant, who slipped before he could get the chance away. And then a ball presented by Jordan Henderson to Steve Mounier. He worked his way forward, but he just stopped, and he was dispossessed by Keita. Liverpool 3, Huddersfield 0.
Yeah, Liverpool have it on the halfway line now with Van Alden, who's had a pretty solid game in there today. Seen plenty of the ball without really having to do too much. They'll go across towards Van Dijk, and now with Lovren, who comes away from the edge of the box and has plenty of space to work his way into. So Jan Siewert on the touchline, frantically waving his arms, trying to get his Huddersfield players into the right areas to deal with this Liverpool attack, and that's exactly what they're doing, but giving away a free kick in the process. Bakuna all over Daniel Sturridge. The Liverpool man does well there just to protect the ball from his opponent. Still seeing, as we saw Jurgen Klopp there, players on the bench. Doesn't appear any of them are out there warming up. With 10 minutes gone, a change doesn't appear to be imminent.
No, and I think he's probably going to maybe wait another 10 minutes, just see how the game develops. Really not in a rush to make a change, Jurgen Klopp, which might surprise some, but it's just that continuity I think that he likes in his sides, particularly with those up front. Do have several good options on the bench to turn to, though. Divock Origi is the main option as a striker. Of course, Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain, who we've spoken about, recovering after a year out injured with a bad knee injury that ruled him out of the World Cup and the subsequent season that Liverpool have had. Salah receives the ball in the box, but he's just dispossessed in time by Schindler. Keita, though, tries to feed it to him, and Salah goes down under a challenge by Kongolo, just trying to win a penalty more than anything, but unsuccessful in his pursuits. I mean, do you expect Jurgen Klopp to do it maybe in the next 5-10 minutes?
I expected him to do it at half-time. It's amazed me that we're at this point, 10 minutes in. We normally, as you say, get it around the hour mark, so maybe that is when he's going to start making a few movements, but I just don't understand it at all. It just doesn't make any sense. Why would you leave those players out there when there is a risk to them? We saw Van Dijk before pick up that brief knock. He seems to be okay. He's on the ball at the moment, but worst case scenario, you lose one of your key players for some big games on the horizon.
Yeah, I'm sure if Jurgen Klopp had his way, he'd be able to bring all 7 of his players off the bench and make those changes in that regard, because there's so many crucial cogs of this Liverpool side, and it's why many feel that Manchester City have got the better chance of winning the league, because they've got a slightly deeper squad and better replacements to come in. I mean, no disrespect to the likes of Origi, not had much football. Shaqiri hasn't had much football. Oxlade-Chamberlain's been injured all season. They just haven't quite got the depth that City have got.
No, and that's why you've got to be a little bit cuter with your changes. You've got to make them at the right times to make sure players can recover fully. When you are a top team and you're competing on a number of fronts, then you're going to be playing once every couple of days, and Liverpool don't, as you say, have the depth to do that. Manchester City have pretty much a second 11 they can put out that's not much weaker than the starting 11, barring 1 or 2 positions. So I think it's a bit naive, really, from Jurgen Klopp to still be keeping this 11 out on the field.
And they've made a bit of a mess of a clearance of Liverpool. Alisson trying to get it to Virgil van Dijk, but gets too much on the pass out. So Huddersfield with another throw-in. Very similar pattern in many ways to what we saw in the first half, where the first 15 minutes of that, Huddersfield spent an awful lot of time in Liverpool's half. Liverpool, though, do win the ball back. They are coming on the counter. Sturridge dispossessed by Hogg, and then Mbenza takes it inside and finds Tommy Smith. Smith looking to lay it forward, but that's where Liverpool are just so strong. They've got that pack mentality, the German gegenpress that has been pursued by Jurgen Klopp ever since he arrived in English football, and that's really where Huddersfield are struggling to get out with the ball.
Yeah, I think a lot of sides struggle with that, never mind a team that are cast adrift at the bottom of the Premier League table, and haven't really been able to compete with anyone in the division this season. Then you get put under pressure, as Liverpool do, and it becomes even tougher.
Robertson with a low cross into the area. Sturridge was peeling off, but that's a very good clearance by Terence Congolo. Now with Henderson once again going back out wide to Robertson, who's been a constant menace on that side. Tommy Smith has struggled up against the Scotland international to really try and establish himself in this contest. Van Dijk on the ball again. Cross now to Wijnaldum. Wijnaldum now to Dejan Lovren. Here is Alexander-Arnold. Now Van Dijk again, very nearly a loose touch from him. I think Huddersfield players might have seen what happened when he went down awkwardly and just trying to make hay of that. Keita will shoot from distance, whistles just wide of the far post. And Keita, he's certainly had a very good game tonight, and he's coming into form in the right period of the season, because before sort of the last month or so, it'd been relatively disappointing.
Yeah, I think there were some positive signs from him in the opening few games of the term, and then he just seemed to completely drop off the radar, didn't he? He's forced his way back into the team, and if there's anywhere in this Liverpool side that there are places up for grabs, I think it's in that middle third. I don't think Klopp quite knows at the moment what his best trio is to play in there. Obviously really admired Naby Keita from what he'd done with RB Leipzig, and felt that he would be a good asset to the team. But Henderson's been in and out, as has Keita, and there's definitely places up for grabs there. That effort, he struck it really awkwardly, didn't he? I think he was maybe a bit rushed in the end, seemed to go with it almost with his toe in the end. But he covers a lot of ground, Keita, and I think that's what Jurgen Klopp likes.
Yeah, he certainly does. James Milner as well, a trusted lieutenant of Jurgen Klopp as well. He's only on the bench this evening as Henderson receives the ball again on the halfway line, back into Virgil van Dijk. Huddersfield all in their own half at this moment in time as Wijnaldum goes out wide to Robertson. That's a clever ball infield to Salah, who's just peeled off his defenders, tries to find a ball through to, I think, Alexander-Arnold was the target, but Sturridge got in the way, and that move broke down. It looked like Alexander-Arnold was having a bit of freedom over on that near side. Liverpool, though, do start again just over the hour mark. If you're just joining us, it's Liverpool 3, Huddersfield 0. All three goals scored in the first half by Keita, Mane and Salah. In a relentless display from Liverpool, or should I say a ruthless display, as they've punished three Huddersfield mistakes. Essentially, Terriers, though, will feel that 3-0 is a very harsh reflection on what we've seen so far, but it's a harsh league as Salah will have an effort from distance, and that just clips the side netting. That goal, that effort was almost reminiscent of a goal that we saw from Luis Suarez a few years ago against Norwich, where a bit of juggling and then the strike from distance, and that's just wide. Yeah,
it's a strange technique that he adopts in the end, isn't it? He sort of ducks his body down low and tries to get his knee as high up as possible. That ball bouncing up, and it's a difficult one. Manages to strike it really well, actually. Very little backlift on it, and just brushes past the side netting on that left-hand side of goal. He's definitely hungry for a bit more tonight.
Yeah, more awkward play from Huddersfield. Some very half-hearted appeals of a back pass as Alisson caught the clearance from Lovren, but plays restarted, and now as soon as that they get forward. Here is Sturridge now. Sturridge going for a strike with the outside of his left peg, just on the edge of the area. Didn't spot any pass that came in there. So it's a throw-in now over on this near side. Robertson with the ball in his hand. Sturridge receives it. Now back with Jorginho Wijnaldum. Just being pushed back slightly. Here is Lovren. Lovren looking forward to Keita, and now Van Dijk in possession. Back to Naby Keita. It almost looks like a beaten performance from Huddersfield now. I think they're just sensing the inevitable and are probably tired after having to do a lot of the chasing.
Yeah, it's difficult, isn't it, I think, to motivate yourself for games like this. They appeared to come out with a bit of spirit tonight. They conceded so early on, but then we saw that response from them, and it's then tough once you've conceded the second and the third to really keep your head up high and say, no, we're going to carry on and plug away at this. When they've had such large periods of the game without the ball, just looking at the stats, they've only had 30% of the possession tonight, and even that has not really been in opposition territory. It's been trying to get out of their own half of the field. So I think it does become a little bit demoralising. The way the season has gone for them, these players will just be desperate for the campaign to be over.
Yep, they certainly will, so they can try and regroup and get that promoted next season. Mounier is robbed of possession by Keita and then pushes into the back of Van Dijk. And Mounier really is a player that's almost summed up Huddersfield's campaign, and right on cue, just as I say that, he's going to be brought off. There's never any question of his work rate. He's always a willing runner into the channels. Had a great start to last season, getting those 2 goals on his debut away at Crystal Palace, but it just hasn't worked out for him this season, and he's going to be replaced by a left-back in Chris Löwe, who has played left midfield, so possibly a slight change in formation.
Yeah, I think so. Grant can play through the middle, so potentially he'll be the one that slots into that central role, and maybe a 4-4-2 potentially, and Benza might go through the middle with him, and Benza more naturally a wide player, but we'll try and work out the shape of it. As you say, Löwe capable of playing further forward than that left-back role, but he's obviously felt, Jan Siewert, it's time to make a change. Why has Jurgen Klopp not felt the same?
Yep, it is a strange one. Robertson now advancing down the left-hand side. That's a lovely cushion touch by Sadio Mane. Robertson can now put a cross in, looking for the back post for Mo Salah. It just goes over his head. Alexander-Arnold now runs on to possession. Henderson will look to lift it in over to that far side once again, and headed into the back of the net by Sadio Mane for his second of the evening. That's probably the pick of the goals we've seen. Lovely lofted ball by Jordan Henderson. He had a lot of work to do, Mane, but he found the back of the net. Yeah,
another assist for another Liverpool fullback. In fact, no, it was Henderson, wasn't it, in the end, who played at Alexander-Arnold in the build-up. But nonetheless, great ball in for Mane to go and attack at that far post. And this header is so difficult because he's having to step back as he tries to meet the ball, watching it all the way, and then has to send it back across the face of goal, generating a bit of power on it to get it beyond Lowstall. And that's a fantastic way to get Liverpool 4-0 ahead.
4 goals now for Liverpool, and Sadio Mane has got his second of the evening. It came from a swift attack down the left-hand side. Robertson with a ball to the back post. It eventually found Alexander-Arnold. He turned the ball round to Jordan Henderson, who lifted one to the other back post where Sadio Mane was lurking unmarked. It's a really difficult header, which he's executed with ease as it went into the far corner. Liverpool 4, Huddersfield 0.
11 goals he's got now in his last 9 home Premier League games. Sadio Mane certainly loves playing at Anfield. Plenty over the course of this season, home and away. It's not as though he struggles when he travels away from Merseyside, but certainly does enjoy playing in front of these fans that have turned out in their numbers tonight in the hope that they were going to see goals, and Liverpool haven't disappointed. It's just a case now of whether they can further add to this and close in and reduce the deficit in terms of goal difference on Manchester City. Salah here pressing on, wins possession half the pitch. Liverpool on the front foot. Yeah, they're just really struggling to deal with the pace that Liverpool are throwing forward. It's not just from Salah and Mane. Of course, the energy that you get from Henderson, Keita and Wijnaldum in the middle. Robertson and Alexander-Arnold always on the move as well. So a difficult evening, perhaps summed up by that 4th goal that Huddersfield have conceded. As Van Dijk now looks to step forward, they're all trying to get in on the act, but that's an uncharacteristic, careless pass out over to the far side now as Huddersfield have a throw. Well, we are over the 3/4 way mark of this game. Liverpool 4, Huddersfield 0. They still look hungry for more. Here's Bobby to bring us to full time. Yeah, let's hope that they don't just completely ease off now, Liverpool. They could, well, within their rights to slow this game down and really bring it to its knees, but I think the way Jurgen Klopp wants his side to play, they're likely to still create. Just might not be at the same sort of rate that we saw in that first half and potentially early stage of this second half. It does look as though Liverpool are now starting to consider a change. Klopp has just gone back to his bench. His backroom staff sat there with the notebook open, frantically trying to decide who to bring on and maybe how things are going to shape up in this final 20 minutes. Might even be 15 minutes by the time they get the subs out there warmed up and back to the bench and ready to be introduced. Can take a great deal of time to get substitutes onto the field of play nowadays. So Just watch this space, I suppose, for them at the moment. Huddersfield have got a throw in at present. Level with the edge of Liverpool's box. It's worked infield by Smith, and nice bit of footwork from Mbenza, but he runs into the challenge of Van Aldem, and then Keita comes and closes down as well. Does end up putting it into touch for the throw-in. Huddersfield this time take by going all the way back into their own half and into Schindler. Plenty of time and space for Congolo, but he decides that he doesn't want to look further afield and leave Schindler to do that. Nice little drop of the shoulder from Stankovic, but then under pressure just flicks it away, hopefully out towards the right hand side, and that's going to be simply retrieved by Robertson, completely unchallenged. Liverpool now just toying with Huddersfield inside their own box. Alisson exchanging passes with both of his central defenders, and in turn Van Dijk and Lovren link up as well. I'll go back to Alisson again, just looking to try and draw Huddersfield forward. Bit of a risk there. Alisson does manage to get it away out to Robertson, but it was all a bit panicked, and it scoops off the head of the Scotland captain. That into touch for a Huddersfield throw, so their third one in quick succession. Haven't really been able to make use of them previously. Seeing shots of Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain on the bench, and it looks as though he is going to come on. Might be a bit of a surprise when you've got other players there that have been available and have played their part all season, although I suppose in terms of the emotional side of things, plenty of Liverpool fans will want to see Oxlade-Chamberlain involved, and I'm not sure if it's still a rule that you have to play a certain amount of games in the Premier League to get a medal, so that might come into the thinking as well. Well,
I think it's 5 games, so even if he plays his part and they do win the league, he's not going to get one, which is a real shame, because he was coming into the best form of his career towards the back end of last season, then picks up that injury, misses the World Cup. You never know what can happen, you never know the counter narrative, and again with Liverpool this season, but it will be a nice moment for him personally if he comes on, and no doubt he'll get a roaring reception from the Liverpool fans.
Interesting to see where he comes on to play, because he had started to sort of make a case for a spot in midfield towards the back end of last season, and at times said that he wanted to try and emulate Steven Gerrard. Here Liverpool come forward into the box. Sturridge trying to turn, he's gone down there, referee not giving the penalty, and then there's an offside, I think, as Salah came and picked possession up. He's adjudged to have been beyond the last man. Sturridge quite aggrieved by this one. He felt that the challenger had taken his leg. In fact, he was the one offside in the build-up, so had he been caught anyway, then it wouldn't have mattered. The linesman had actually fallen over, so that was why there was the delay with the flag.
Yeah, I mean, you do feel a bit of empathy for Sturridge. He's trying his best to get into position, to get goals. They're going to make a double change, Liverpool, by the looks of it. Xherdan Shaqiri coming on as well as Oxlade-Chamberlain, and nice chance for Shaqiri to get a run out as well, because sort of in the middle of this season he was starting to establish himself as a real important squad player for them. Kind of fallen off the radar a bit. Adam Lallana getting fit. He's not on the bench, by the way, this evening. So, yeah, it's just a good chance for some of these Liverpool players to get some valuable minutes under their belts, because you never know when they'll be needed next.
It looks as though those changes are about to be made. There's a smile on the face of Jurgen Klopp as he looks towards Xherdan Shaqiri, and the arm around the shoulder of the former Bayern Munich man. It's going to be Daniel Sturridge to go off. I guess that's just a case that he probably hasn't got enough in the tank to see out 90 minutes. Sturridge probably would have preferred to have stayed out there, though, and at least seen this one through. And again, it means that we're not going to see both Mane and Salah come off. We might see one of them replaced potentially by Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain. We'll have to wait and see. We're yet to see the board go up for the second player. It's going to be Van Aldem, is it? Yeah, Van Aldem and Sturridge off.
Yeah, I mean, I'd imagine that Mane or Salah will drift into a central position. Oxlade-Chamberlain will go out wide. Van Aldem for Shaqiri. That's not quite like for like, but Shaqiri will probably slot into that position. It probably doesn't make too much difference at this stage of proceedings. It's still going to be very comfortable for them, as Salah will have a drive from distance, takes a big deflection off Schindler. Corner kick already. Yeah, he
apologises to Oxlade-Chamberlain, because he'd actually made a really good run through the middle and potentially was open there for the pass. Salah maybe didn't feel so. Oxlade-Chamberlain already barking out the orders, trying to make sure that players are in the right position for this set piece, which, well, very strangely there, Sadio Mane had placed down. It looked as though he'd just clipped the ball, but he just ran over the top of it and moved it off the field instead, then sprinted into the box. He's going to leave it for Alexander-Arnold. So 2 players right on top of the goalkeeper. Mane, one of them, Shaqiri, the other. It's towards the penalty spot. Play climbing along the back of Lovren. But all fair, really. Keita then battles to try and win the loose ball outside the box. Doesn't get there first time, but persists with it and blocks away Bakuna's clearance. That's going to go into touch for the throw-in. I think Bakuna has taken exception to one of the Liverpool fans who had thrown the ball back into the field of play a little bit, maybe aggressively. And Bakuna, who's losing 4-0 and heading down to the Championship, probably doesn't need anything else to add to his mood. And the throw is eventually going to be taken by Durm. Down the left-hand side it goes, and Lerver flicks it infield. Nice ball, actually, into Grant, who helps it further on. Van Dijk is there sweeping up, though. And Alisson, the calmest man in Anfield, plays it out to the left-hand side for Robertson, who also shows good composure. Turns away from the challengers and back to the keeper. Liverpool have shown Huddersfield at times how simple it is to play out from the back.
Yeah, I mean, they make it look very easy. I think them and Manchester City are just the shining example of how to do that. And I think a lot of it comes from the fact that both goalkeepers are very comfortable in possession. Lovren is just upended there by Chris Lerver on the left-hand side, so Liverpool will get a free kick. But how much of a difference Alisson has made to this Liverpool side as well. I mean, with Van Dijk's presence, you almost forget the fact that they were desperate for a goalkeeper at the end of last season, and they've got one who's been one of the best in the league this season.
Liverpool have it out on the left-hand side now with just under 15 minutes to go. Cruising back towards the top of the table this evening. 3 points will edge them ahead of City once more. There's already been 28 occasions this season that the team at the top of the table, top of the standings has switched over. We could be about to see it change once more as Oxlade-Chamberlain is still on goal. His shot, though, is at low salt. Did everything right there. Great composure in the box, but and a little bit casual with the finish.
Yeah, I don't know whether it's just because it's on his weaker foot and he's snatched at it, maybe got a bit excited in the build-up. Again, Huddersfield just allowing the ball to bounce everywhere. It's a lovely take inside Christopher Schindler, and I think it is just because it's on his weak foot. He should have been aiming towards the far corner and instead just scuffed his effort, and it's quite a simple save for Lörsel.
Liverpool almost playing themselves into trouble now at the back. I'm starting to get a feeling that Alisson might make a gaffe tonight. He's getting too confident for me in those situations rather than just playing that simple ball as he has done previously. He's starting to take a touch, try and turn around a player and look for a more difficult pass. I think that's one side of his game that he maybe needs to iron out a little bit. You look at the better goalkeepers that do it, Manuel Neuer, Ederson, another. They do always look for that simple pass first. They only try and beat a player if it's completely necessary. But Alisson still seems to have that little bit of a feeling about him that he wants to be the showman between the sticks. And I suppose there's no better time to do it than when you're 4-0 up. But still, Jurgen Klopp won't be too happy with it if they concede an unnecessary goal tonight. Lovren will play one out towards Alexander-Arnold on the right-hand side. Searching ball into the box, and Salah goes down there. There was quite a heavy bit of contact in his back. Play will continue. Shaqiri to the far post, and Mane heads off the post. Well, he could have had a hat-trick of headers, the Senegalese. Seems the most simple of them all, but he's put it off the post, and Liverpool will come again out towards the left-hand side now with Oxlade-Chamberlain, but his pass is poor, and Huddersfield managed to get a foot in. Such a teasing ball that for Mane to attack.
Yeah, it was. Brilliant ball in from Xherdan Shaqiri. Again, it comes from slack. Huddersfield defending. They just present possession to the Swiss international on the near side. Ball lofted to the far post. And with the difficulty, or the degree of difficulty for Mane's second header, you expected that one to go in the back of the net. Just didn't quite get the contact right, and it hit the post. But you can see Liverpool getting another couple of goals at least until the end of the game. Yeah,
they're very much still at it, and the changes, if anything, have kept this game interesting. Oxlade-Chamberlain certainly wants a goal, and I think some of the players on the pitch with him also would like to tee him up and get him back in the mix in terms of that side of the game as well. Shaqiri obviously wants to have an impact and only knows how to play one way, and that is attacking, adventurous football. So it'll be interesting to see what the next type of change is and how that impacts this game. Van Dijk here showing great strength to win possession for Liverpool in his own half, and works it forward to Henderson. Mane then turns around a corner. He's been dragged back there and surely will get the free kick. Yeah, the advantage had been played, but there was none to come from it. So much energy still, Mane, at this stage of a match. Fantastic approach.
Well, he probably wants his hat-trick. That's why he's still running around an awful lot. Just having another look at this headed chance. I think he did have to move back slightly to head this one towards goal, so it kind of took away a bit of the direction he could put on the header. Jonas Lössl was getting nowhere near that, and he should score, but it's not an absolute sitter.
They've got this free kick now, and he might get another headed opportunity if the delivery is good. It's around about 28 yards from goal, left-hand side. That wall right on the edge of the penalty area. Again, the usual two suspects over it, Salah and Alexander-Arnold. Van Dijk, interestingly, like he did earlier, has peeled away to the far post. He's actually behind the man that should be marking him as well, which doesn't seem to be the correct way to try and keep track of someone. Well, you would want to be goal side. I think you want to also have eyes on him to know what kind of movement there is. Salah will deliver. It was towards Van Dijk. Will come for Lovren. The volley, though, is wide. Not the kind of play you really want trying to execute that type of effort.
Heading into the closing stages at Anfield, it's still Liverpool 4, Huddersfield 0, but a really nice moment for the home fans. After a year out injured, Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain has made his comeback off the bench, replacing Daniel Sturridge. Xherdan Shaqiri has also come on for Jorginho Wijnaldum, and those two substitutions have both had very good chances to have an effect on the game. Salah threading a through ball to Oxlade-Chamberlain in the box, took it inside Chris Schindler on his left foot, though he scuffed an effort which was well saved by Jonas Lössl. Then more poor defending from the back by Huddersfield, presented the ball to Shaqiri on the near side, who put a cross towards the back post. There was Sadio Mane, could have had a hat-trick of headers, but instead he hit the post. Liverpool 4, Huddersfield 0.
Interesting, a change from Huddersfield as well, and it's Stankovic who has gone off. He's been replaced by Alex Pritchard for the remaining 10 minutes of this clash. So still one change remaining for Huddersfield, one likewise for Liverpool as well. I expect we will see the full complement of substitutions made in the closing stages of this match as Oxlade-Chamberlain tries to chest down. The ball slips off his chest and into touch for a throw-in. Huddersfield to take this one in front of Jurgen Klopp. Not in any great hurry to do so. I suppose the longer the ball's out of play, the less likely they are to concede another goal. As soon as they do put it back into the field, then it is won by Liverpool. Shaqiri slips but gets to his feet quick enough and sends Liverpool on the front foot. Ball from Naby Keita goes beyond Sadio Mane and it's recovered by Robertson. Comes back in field to the former Saints man. Henderson there offering himself up as well, and this is all very simple from Liverpool. Just trying to keep that ball moving and players happy to make runs off the ball and try to drag opponents into areas they don't want to necessarily go. Liverpool can afford to do that at this stage of the game. And it's now with Keita through towards Shaqiri. Robertson holds his run well. Salah has made the movement through the middle and it's a tap-in for the Egyptian. Lössl came out at his feet, couldn't get there quick enough. Liverpool have 5.
A 5-star display from Liverpool as Mo Salah has got his second of the evening. Again, lovely play from Xherdan Shaqiri, showing his ability off the bench. Threaded a lovely through pass to Andy Robertson, who was in plenty of space on the far side. He kept his run onside and played a ball across for Mo Salah to tap in to make it Liverpool 5, Huddersfield 0.
Liverpool very much making full use of the opportunity tonight against the rock bottom club. Salah and Mane both on hat-tricks. And it was just the right foot of the Egyptian that was able to beat Lössl to the ball. And another assist for Robertson. He's fast closing in on Eden Hazard, who leads the way for assists in the Premier League this season. And that would be some achievement for Robertson if he were to be able to claim that prize. I'm not sure many fullbacks have won it before, but he's definitely established himself as a key figure in this Liverpool side in an area of the team that has proved troublesome for them over the last few years. I think back to Moreno in particular, a player that was never really able to offer what Jurgen Klopp wanted. Very much those days appear to be gone, and Robertson almost through again here. Had that ball been played a little bit quicker, he would have been through towards the edge of the box, but it was slow in coming, and with that, Mbenja has been able to get back and get a foot in. But it's been so simple. Every time Liverpool have tried to score a goal, they've got onto that front foot. The defending is just non-existent from the Terriers.
They're just not good enough. I think they've got to be honest with themselves at the end of the season, Huddersfield, and say that they've been in the Premier League one season too long. Great achievement as it was for them to stay up. I think they were complacent in the transfer window, and that's been evident. And against the best of the best, as they put another cross in from deep to Liverpool towards the back post. Once again, I think it's a case of two players just getting in each other's way in Mane and Salah. Both of them on hat-tricks, of course, and it's a Huddersfield man that heads it behind for a corner.
Yeah, they've taken that corner short, actually, out on the left-hand side. Lovren throws his arms out because he'd made the journey downfield, and it appears to be in vain. Van Dijk has decided, well, I've made this journey, I'm going to continue going towards the edge of the box, and now he might regret that because Huddersfield come away having to get back there and help is Alexander-Arnold, but he'd read that danger really well. Goes back to Allison, gets the return ball again, and despite one player for Huddersfield, I think it was Hogg who had made that chase, no one else had decided to go with him, so it does make it very easy for Liverpool to come away from goal. And we see now that Van Dijk has dropped back into position as he gets a touch of the ball inside his own half. And very simple for Liverpool this evening. The signs were there right from the opening minute, the opening 20 seconds, when they pounced on a mistake to go and edge ahead in this match. And I suppose that just eases any nerves that they had coming into this game, as Henderson tries to put one round a corner now for Mane, but it's well intercepted and cut out by Huddersfield, who tried to play through midfield. And it'll be headed down by Van Dijk. This impressive record that Liverpool have at home as well in the Premier League is going to continue. Last time they tasted defeat at Anfield was back in April 2017 when they lost 2-1 to Crystal Palace. Since then, they've either won or drawn, won the majority of them. 38 games now that they have enjoyed that run across, so it's a record that they can be very proud of. So Liverpool have gone over 90 points this evening, on to 91 overall now, with this 5-0 thrashing. I think one thing that you could say about Huddersfield this season, although they haven't been great and they certainly deserve to go down on the football they've played, they haven't had too many heavy beatings. They've stayed in games, maybe they've lost them 2-0, potentially by 2 or 3 goals, but certainly 5, 6 haven't been put past them often.
No, not too often. I think it's usually been a case of them just being unable to score goals. They bought Grant in January. Perhaps if they'd had him all season, it could have been different, but once again, you can never know what would happen. Otherwise, I think next season in the Championship that they're going to struggle if they keep this squad together. I think big changes are going to have to be made by Jan Sievert.
Yeah, they've already been linked with a lot of strikers, and that's not too much of a surprise. We're seeing the third and final change now, and Mbenja goes off, and Elias Kachunga comes on in his place. It looks as though we're going to see Joe Gomez as well, I think, introduced here again. I said we've seen him brought on sparingly over the last few weeks, and he is going to replace Alexander-Arnold, so that's the same change that they made last time out, and he'll slot in at right back. Interesting that they're holding Gomez back a little bit more than Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain, who is only just back from injury today. Don't know whether that's something they've seen in training, that maybe they feel Oxlade-Chamberlain is a bit further ahead, but they were prepared to bring him on for 20 minutes. Gomez keeps getting 5 minutes here and there.
Yeah, I mean, it might be down to the fact that Oxlade-Chamberlain's an attacking player, and you usually do bring attacking players on in the second half. But he's had a couple of sub-appearances now as Gomez. I mean, him and Van Dijk were the first-choice partnership. It's going to be difficult, I think, for Gomez to get back into the team, particularly with such crucial games on the horizon. But again, for Jurgen Klopp, he's there, he's fit, and he's an option.
You've seen Andrew Robertson named man of the match. Not too many surprises there. Although Mane and Salah have both got a couple of goals apiece, Robertson has been relentless down that left-hand side and has chipped in with a few assists himself. So I think very much was going to be a pick between those three, and Robertson's work ethic has clearly got him over the line. Ball forward from Huddersfield is cut out. Goes over the head, then the clearance of Salah, and it's flicked off Bakuna, and will go out into touch for a Liverpool throat. Looking at the games on the horizon then for Liverpool, they travel to Barcelona in the next couple of days. They'll be in action against the Catalan side on Wednesday night. That's going to be the 1st of May. And then they travel to Newcastle off the back of that next Saturday before a return leg against Barcelona on home soil. And they host Wolves on the last day of the Premier League season at a potential Champions League final, maybe to come after that as well. For Huddersfield, just 2 games remain for them. They host Manchester United next time out and might actually fancy their chances against the Red Devils, the form they've been in of late. And then they travel to Southampton on the last day of the season, I suppose. Nice way to end the campaign for them on home soil, at least, with one of the big names coming to town. Might be a while until they get a fix like that again.
Yeah, it might be, and I suppose in a good way as well. It's one of the big names that are currently in bad form, so you're exactly right. They might fancy the chances of getting something, but then again, Manchester United will probably look at that because they've got Chelsea this weekend. Depending on how the result goes for that, they might think, from their point of view, this is a nice game for us to try and get back on form.
Huddersfield flicking one away now on the edge of their own box as Salah had made the run in behind. And then the long clearance downfield. Huddersfield just can't quite get it under their control. Liverpool work it back towards Lovren. The side again's going to Alisson this time around. We're going to get 3 minutes of additional time. Not quite sure Kevin Friend needed to go with the full complement of minutes, but he's decided to stick to the book nonetheless, with Liverpool 5-0 up. The fans at Anfield, 1 or 2 of them already heading towards the exits. The rest of them, I'm sure, will want to stick around and celebrate this victory with their players out on the field, show their respects for the performance. Stan mentioned earlier on, the title race no longer in their hands. All they can do is win, and try to win handsomely as well to improve that goal difference. Salah maybe looking to get his hat-trick now. Into the box he goes, his shot is over the bar. Russell did dab a hand out, but I don't think there was a touch. Possibly a little bit greedy there, Salah, but on a hat-trick you can understand why.
Yeah, exactly so. I mean, you want your attacking players to be greedy in scenarios like this, because it shows that they've got a ruthless mentality about them. Far too easy for him to get inside both Schindler and Durm. Always a difficult strike, though, from that sort of angle.
Yeah, just gets underneath the ball and always rising there. The frustration etched on his face as he watched it go into that cop end behind the goal that Liverpool so often attack towards in the second half. And Dyke up tangling with Grant for a header, and I think the flag has gone up for offside. It's Liverpool potentially out of a bit of a tough situation. The ball was loose and not necessarily under anyone's control. We're a minute and a half through that 3 additional now. Liverpool having the points in the bag long before the half-time whistle had even gone. It's very much proven to be a dominant performance this evening. No doubt there's bigger tests ahead for them. Trip to Newcastle won't prove easy. Manchester City have lost against the Magpies already this season, and at home to Wolves. Wolves have picked up plenty of points and caused surprises against top 6 sides. So this was very much the almost training ground exercise for Liverpool tonight, just to get through and make sure that it was a solid performance overall. But from now on, here on out, between until the end of the season, it is going to be a real tough ask for them. 1 possession now through Gomez. And they go back into their own half as we enter the final 30 seconds with Naby Keita, who opened proceedings with his goal inside 15 seconds this evening. Another to his tally. Exchanges passes now with Mane out on the left-hand side. Dropped back in by Oxlade-Chamberlain and in towards Shaqiri. He's maybe thinking about going at goal himself. He does strike on his right foot and it's wide of the post, and I think that will be it. As Shaqiri has a wry smile on his face, probably knowing there were better options on, but deciding it was his opportunity to have a strike at goal, his first of the night. And we are now over the 3 minutes. In fact, we're not even going to get the goal kick. Referee has blown up, so Liverpool back to the top of the Premier League table. They beat Huddersfield by 5-0.
Our next football commentary match is getting ever nearer, so why not take the opportunity of having a bet on the match? Whether you're interested in betting on the match result, the first player to score, the last scorer, correct score, double